It's yours?
No,
My mother said she found it in your closet.
What's up, guys? I'm here at the Bike Surgeon. Gabe over there is going to help me out with something. You may have noticed I did a video about comparing some drivetrain efficiencies, and you know, maybe my wax that I used when I waxed my chain isn't the best stuff. It's paraffin wax. It's almost black. This is my trainer chain. This is what Gabe recommends. It's good stuff, Gabe. It's a lot more money than my $4 Walmart paraffin wax, though. But here's the thing. I think even more important to that is probably getting the chain really clean. And I know I don't really do that right. I usually use kerosene because that's what I had, and then sometimes some soap and water. And so then I'll soak the chain in my paraffin wax. This is my trainer chain. This has been oiled with Triflow. What do you think of Triflow, Gabe? Good?
It's really good for your cables in your housing, right?
Good for cables and housing. He says it's not very good chain lube. So Gabe's offered to help me out here. We're going to strip this chain and then dip it in the Silica Crockpotinator 4000 right there. And then I'm gonna take it home, and I'll probably just see if I can tell a difference and just see what that's like. So yeah, thanks, Gabe.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
This video wasn't meant to be a commercial, but I just want to tell you that me and Gabe talked about it. It's $40 to get this done. And what that would be at the Bike Surgeon, you bring your bike, they're going to check your chain, make sure it's in good shape, take it off, soak it, clean it, strip it, make sure it's ready, wax it, put it back on your bike, loosen it up, make sure it pedals good, make sure everything's great, tune the derailleur if it needs it. They're going to do all that for $40. It would cost you a lot more to set up the wax chains, and you'd have to have the tools and the time and the knowledge to do this. If you don't have those things, then you're much better off to get this done in a shop. Just a public service mention. Yeah, can you clean it?
Yeah, so that's why we have coffee filters.
Oh, see?
And I have multiple
Okay.
mason jars.
Yep. Coming out clean-ish. Okay, it's coming out very clean. Look at that thing. And that's the Silica chain stripper. Okay. Sweet.
Sometimes floating in there.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is pretty unique to the Silica system here, because I just dropped mine in a pot.
It's not big enough. I mean,
Yeah.
this does work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just trying to get her.
I use a pair of needle nose pliers. Whoa. Spillage. How long you leave it in for?
As long as you can.
As long as you can.
So I'll let it sit there, and then we want to shake it to get like all the air bubbles and stuff out of the link. So let it sit there for a second, and you need to make now. Make some kind of bubbles in there.
Get the bubbles out.
But like I can feel when I'm on there right now because of the difference in temperature of the chain, and that like it's really crusty right now. So we want it to actually be like molten all the way around the chain, so that it really, so you have to let it sit in there for a decent amount of time.
Gotcha. Nano scale tungsten disulfide.
There we go.
Okay, the chain's been soaking for about 15 minutes. Wow, it's really shiny. And that's pretty convenient, I gotta say. What I usually do is I put a pair of long needle nose in there, and a lot of times it's hard to get the chain out without dropping a bunch of wax. So that's pretty convenient. That's a pretty cool system. So according to directions, we got about a 15-minute, 10-minute wait here for the chain to cool off. It's Yeah, it's really hot. And yeah, it's really hot. So I've waxed chains a bunch. This seems different from the way I've done it before in the past. I mean, it's the same basic thing, but it seems like the wax is... The chain's stiffer, and it seems like the wax is on here better. I feel like probably this cleaning method and this waxing method is definitely working better. We'll get the chain on, and we'll find if I can tell a difference. I don't really think I'm going to be able to tell a difference, but we'll see. So when you first put your chain back on, it's going to feel really bad. It's going to go through the jockey pulley and the guide pulleys on your derailleur really, really rough. And it's shedding wax. You're going to leave a bunch of wax on the floor, so put a towel or something down to catch that because it can be kind of a mess. And definitely just spend about 10 minutes spinning easy and letting your chain kind of get loosened up and get all the wax off of it. The wax that's falling off is not important. The only wax that really matters is what's in the rollers of the chain, where it can like smooth out, you know, and actually provide lubricant. So the chain doesn't rust though, because it seems like it has like a super thin, even if it flakes off, there's still a super thin coating of wax adhering to the metal of the chain. But if you do get them wet, they're going to probably dry a little bit rusty if they get wet multiple times, because that wax does wear off. So I've been doing a little like test, and I'm going to try it out again. So it's kind of an efficiency test. I'm going to do 10 minutes after a short warm up at 160 watts, which is just an easy sort of zone 2 effort, and then see what my heart rate averages out over that. The first time it was in the 130s. Let's see what it does with this chain. Well, guys, I just completed my workout test that I did. So in my previous test, I got 129, 130 beats per minute, I think. I can't remember, for both chains. The actual my wax chain was, I got 1 beat per minute higher. Now this time, I want to say, I have to look on Strava, upload to ride, but I'm pretty sure that the average was more like 126, 127. I really only got to 130 beats per minute a handful of times at the end. I hit it a couple times and then it went back down. But most of the time I was setting at like 126. So now, does that mean that this chain is more efficient? I really, no. I mean, it doesn't mean I can prove it with that, because that's, I mean, that beats per minute is just, it can be, my heart rate can be, it depends on the mood. Maybe I'm just feeling a little better today. Maybe if I did it the next time, it would be higher or lower. So, plus, I don't really think it's that sensitive, but I'll say that it's very smooth feeling, and there's a big difference between the way a greasy chain feel, or like an oiled chain, not necessarily greasy, but just oiled chain. The more greasy, probably the more. But they feel really, really, really smooth when they're oiled, and they feel really dampened, like super quiet. Whereas a wax chain kind of feels more, it's a little louder. It feels smooth on the pedals, but I mean, it's louder and probably a little bit rougher. But, you know, a lot of that dampening and smoothness and quietness is coming from the inefficiency of the oil. So just to kind of wrap things up here, Gabe charges $40, the bike surgeon, to perform this task, and that would be bring your bike in, take the chain off, all that stuff I talked about earlier. It's probably, by the time you got done with all that, it's probably at least an hour's work, if not more. And the fluid, the stripping fluid, and the wax are both expensive. I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't pay to do it if I rode in a lot of water, or if it was just for training, or just for general riding. It doesn't probably matter. But there's some pretty big advantages besides the efficiency. It's also so much cleaner. I mean, you're not going to get grease all over your leg, or you can touch your chain without getting dirty, which that's pretty awesome. So you can do this yourself, and I think if you got all the stuff invested in it, if you were trying to go for maximum efficiency, it'd definitely be worth it. But also too, if you're stripped for time, you know, taking this to a bike shop and getting it done is well worth it, I think. I would definitely, you know, do that if I didn't have the free time, or if it wasn't something I was going to get done all the time, maybe just before races or something. But yeah, so I will keep testing, and if, you know, I notice a trend, then I probably can say it's more efficient. If I see over the course of, you know, many attempts that my little workout test shows it's more efficient, then we can kind of prove it. So we'll see. Thanks to Bike Surgeon and Gabe. Pretty fun to see how this works. Pretty fun to get to see the Silica Crockpotinator 4000, which I have made fun of in the past. It was a nice system. It was cool to see it in action. You can definitely do it without spending the money on the Silica stuff, but I imagine the Silica stuff is better. Peace out.